This week, I'm speaking to two vital members of our student body. It's our deputy head boy, Kilian Borowsky, and our deputy head girl, Mariana Domingues. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. Regular listeners to this podcast will know that I have a section which I call APW Ask the Question, which is where I ask my class to come up with questions to ask the guests. And one of their questions today, I think, is the best one to start with. And this came from Amalia in my class. And the question she wanted to ask you was, what the hell is it that you actually do?
So I would say that the main role that we have is to be a role model for younger students. Now, this can take many forms, obviously. Just by being in the correct uniform is enough to show younger students that they must be in the same uniform. We also try to make students respect rules, even though it's harder for older students to listen to us, because obviously we are less credible to them. But younger students tend to listen to what we have to say. Our role is also important for the prefect, because we guide the prefect and we assist the head boy and head girl, and we try to make our voice heard in the prefect body. And I think ours is valued more to the head boy and head girl, because obviously we've shown that we are trustworthy, we've shown that we are responsible, and I would say that me and Mariana are doing a fantastic job so far, respecting the rules and the uniform. And I think overall, yes, our main goal is to be role models to the younger students.
Anything else, Mariana?
Yes, that's basically what Kilian said, and I think that we are also expected to, as all of us are, to help the CLIP community, but we have to have a more active role, so we serve as role models for the other students, and we also help the head girl and head boy in their duties too.
How do you balance being a role model in school with still being able to kind of have fun, and everyone occasionally likes to break the rules? How do you find that balance?
I think it's like when we have to understand when we have to be serious and when we can laugh more, not play around, but be more relaxed. And I think as we have this role, as time passes, we get to understand when are those times we have to be more serious about it.
Yeah, and I would say it is sad for us, because that means that we can't necessarily wear non-uniform, which obviously I don't encourage anyone to do.
Exactly. No one's allowed to not wear uniform.
Obviously, but there are ways to, I wouldn't say get away with it, but some students like to, and well, now we're not allowed to. But I'm fine with that, obviously, because so long as we get our message delivered to the younger children, I'm fine with that.
Just for anybody who doesn't know, who hasn't gone through this or witnessed it firsthand, how did you get this role? Why is it you guys?
First, you have to be a prefect before applying to this role. For our prefect, we wrote like a personal statement, which was read by the teachers and students, and then if we became a prefect, we would have the chance to write a speech to apply for deputy head boy and deputy head girl. But as this year there's COVID, I don't know how the past years went, but this year we had to do it online, and then Form 11, 12 and teachers voted.
That's really all there was.
So if anyone is in Form 10 at the moment and thinking they want to be deputy head girl, deputy head boy next year, what advice would you give them?
Well, I would just say to do your best and to be yourself, really, because you're not running to be a prefect and or a deputy head girl or boy to be a people pleaser. You're there to get a job done, and you're there to help the school. You're not there to have fun. You're not there so that you can get your case hours in. You're there so that you can represent your school, you can help the students, and there's no better way of doing that than being yourself. And I think that many people try to pretend like they're someone else, especially in the speeches I heard. I saw a lot of people saying things that I didn't necessarily think were true, and well, I mean, it kind of backfired on them now, because me and Mariana are now the deputy head boy and girl.
So what was in your speech, Kilian?
Well, I tried to to be more realistic than others, I tried to give goals and things that we could accomplish rather quickly and rather easily. They were also important to the school. I talked about mental health, which is often disregarded, and I think that's a problem within schools because many children, obviously we have an excellent psychologist in school, but I think that many children are still too maybe scared, maybe they don't feel like they need to talk to someone. But I think that even if you're perfectly fine, I still think it's good to have someone to talk to, someone to trust. That was my main goal because I've come from many schools and there wasn't always a very good trust between the teachers and the students. And I think that to encourage students to be able to talk to people was my main focus, and that's what I talked about in my speech.
What about you, Mariana?
My speech consisted more of me telling the people that I'm not going to do any promises that I can't keep. Like, I'm not going to say I'm going to solve every issue that people in the school have. And also because we are the deputy head girl and boy, we are not the head girl and boy. So I think we would be like overstepping their position if we would be saying things like that. So I just said I would be always available, and it's in my biggest interest, your biggest interest. And I say that I would really do my best, and that's what my speech was more about.
How annoyed will he be if next year the two of you don't become head boy and head girl? Be honest.
I don't think like it's not guaranteed or anything like that. So I'm not counting on that. I will like run for it, and I would really like to. But I'm not like taking it for granted, you know. So I don't know. I would like to, but if I'm not, then I won't be mad, I guess.
Yeah, it was difficult for me because I was running for the deputy head role. I was running against my best friends, and they wanted it as badly as I did. And they've been here for a much longer time than I have, and they even told me that they wanted to become a head boy. And it made me quite sad that I won because obviously I wouldn't say like Mariana said that it's head boy role is granted to you after you become a deputy head boy. But obviously it increases your chances, as we can see with Thiago Silva, who became the head boy after becoming a deputy head boy. So I would say that I would be sad if I didn't get the head boy role. But obviously if it's one of my friends, I would be proud of them.
Okay, imagine if next year you're not head boy and head girl, but you're president of CLIP. You become like you're in control of CLIP. You can do whatever you want. What changes would you make to the school?
Actually, it's a difficult question because I think that when it's like easy to talk, then you have a lot to say. But then when you are actually in the position, then you don't know where to start. You know, I don't know if Kilian, what do you think?
Yes, always give me the hard questions. Well, it is difficult to find ideas and things that we could change about a school because obviously there's limitations, whether it be the budget, whether it be the COVID circumstances. But I really liked the way that they redid the pavilion with the wooden floors. And I think there's room to improve. I think they're redoing the tennis courts now. And obviously I love sports, so I would love to change the school.
I know what I would do. I would like increase the sports activities during the year, but like related to houses and inter-house competitions, because I feel that that's such a good way of bonding. And normally we do it like in the beginning of the year, and we don't do it anymore during the year. And I think that's a really good way to get to know other people and just embrace your houses, because I feel that the house culture in CLIP is not as strong as it could be.
It's difficult, especially this year.
Yes.
Isn't it?
I know, because of
it's
COVID.
A shame. Yeah, I remember that was something that struck me when I first came to CLIP, was in some of the events, the power and the passion people had for their house. It would be good to see a bit more of that. I agree, that's a really good idea. The two of you have been through an experience that even the most experienced students, even the teachers, no one else has been through, which is to go through an exam session that was kind of cancelled or suspended. Your exams were cancelled. I was just wondering, there'll be people listening to this in Form 9 and Form 10 who we don't know yet, but there's a possibility that they'll be facing that as well. And at the moment, there's uncertainty. I was just wondering, from going through that experience yourself, are there any tricks you learned or anything you did that really helped you to get through such an uncertain, difficult time that was completely the opposite of what you'd spent your whole school career expecting, and then suddenly, bang, what would you share with Form 10s?
If I had someone to tell me beforehand, if I could give the advice to them, is work during your school year, because you never know. Because then you get to the end of the school year and you think, oh, I'm going to improve in my exams, so I'm going to study all Easter holidays and all study leave, and then I'm going to have straight A's. But then first, that's not very credible, but that's what I thought. But if you don't have exams, you have to rely on the work you did during the year. So I would advise you to work consistently and have study habits, because that will really help if you go through a situation like we did.
I would say don't throw out any of your tests or any work you've done for the past 5 years, because obviously I know it feels good to throw out bad tests. I did it, but it came to bite me, and it really didn't pay off at the end, because I had 2 tests as evidence to show to Cambridge, and my grades weren't as high as I hoped. But obviously the main goal is to work hard throughout the whole year, make sure that you have the teachers supporting you, make sure that they're on your side, make sure that you're attentive in class, show everyone that you want to get those high grades, or that you want to learn, and everything should be fine.
So looking forward a couple more years, in a few years, you guys are going to be graduating, you're going to be leaving CLIP and going out into the big bad world. What are you looking forward to about that, and what scares you about that?
I look forward for being able to have new experiences and maybe get out of my comfort zone, because I would like to go and study abroad. So I think that would be a good way. And also having to be more independent will also make me grow as a person. I think meeting new people and focusing on, if I go to university, which I want to, if I go to university, I go to a course that I am interested in. So having my everyday being made of things that I'm actually interested in, not doing something that I maybe prefer not to do.
And what scares you about it?
Leaving home.
Yeah.
I've grown up also with some of my friends since I was 4 years old. So that will be difficult also. And it scares me going into a place where I don't know anyone. I don't have my family there. So I think that's what scares me the most.
What about you, Kilian?
I would agree. Even though I have obviously less attachments to Portugal, because I've only been here 1 year, and unlike Mariana, I haven't known friends for as long as she has. So for me, I would say leaving is going to be less hard, but obviously leaving the nest, leaving my mom's homemade meals, leaving playing tennis with my dad, that's gonna be missed.
To end, you may know that for one of you, I do have kind of an inside contact, and I sourced a question from this inside contact, and that question was, Kilian, why don't you spend as much time working as you do doing your hair?
Wow, okay, so I think I know where you got that from. I'm not going to deny the accusation, because I do spend some time on my hair. I do think that I work more than I do my hair. I hope so, at least.
And also, Kilian, other than High School Musical, what music and TV shows?
Okay.
What music and TV shows should we be watching? Should we be listening to or watching?
Wow. Okay. I feel exposed. This is very bad. I think a lot of people love High School Musical, so I'm not ashamed of that. I would say to watch Blue Planet, because the planet needs saving. Oh my god.
Any suggestions, Mariana?
I was just Blue Planet too.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Mariana Domingues, Kilian Borowsky. Thanks a lot. Have a great week. Good luck for the rest of the year. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.